Yelling! I love Kelly Clarkson.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, I'm all about Mariah, and I totally understand. I might think that's a better album than Mariah's. I might.
Oh, wow.
I might.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
might.
whoa.
I
I
might.
mean, yeah, well,
I might.
but
I
it
might.
has like that song or All I Want for Christmas.
I don't know. I mean, All I Want for Christmas, classic. The album, amazing. I mean, Mariah Carey singing Silent Night, amazing.
But that
Amazing.
song, but when it makes you really want to like, what's the song that makes you want to like put on a coat and run out into the snow and like have hot chocolate and like
that song, what I just did underneath the tree, makes me want to take my shirt off and shimmy with Kathy being tied and having to watch me do it.
Oh! Where are we going? This is getting worse.
Because she would run out of the room and be like, no.
This is the song that makes you want to throw Parmesan.
Jamie just wrote, my eyes.
Ooh, hot honey.
Hot honey too. That's a good idea. No, I know what you were saying about that. Here we go again, everybody. We're going for that record.
Wow.
We are a minute in and already extraordinarily inappropriate. Thank you, everyone.
By the way, I was telling a story, literally trying to explain about, the holiday, and I was like making dog sounds, and they decided that we should just make dog sounds. And I was like, and this dog was like, arf, and this one was like, bow, wow. And I was like,
have you seen that commercial with the guy making the trying to connect with his boss with I forget it was Georgia Bulldogs, and he's like, ooh, at the executive table, and everyone's like, and he's like barking, yes, and everyone's like, stop.
I was like, he's not from Texas, and also could be. And also is the exact audience.
Well, if this is the way, look at me. If this is the way you're trying to get a seat at the table, by trying to find some sort of stupid connection like that, you're going to get a stupid seat at the table. That's
yeah.
We bonded over barking. Not a long-term career move. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Am I allowed to get you going? Can I get you going this morning? Oh, by the way, love that mug. Looky.
Oh my God. I feel like I know.
Look at my girls.
Getting your girls out.
Girls. This is from Christmas present. I want to say maybe a couple years ago from Olivia. So
cute.
Does my girl know me? My kids get me so well. Look at that. Oh yes. Look at Lynn. Good morning. By the way, love the those of you joining us right away. We appreciate it greatly. Oh my goodness. There's part of it that's cut off here. I want to make sure I read it all though for you. Lynn, love that you joined us. Appreciate that you can't stay. Don't worry. Been in HR 45 years and we are still asking this question, which means we need to actually do this versus talk about it. The whole seat at the table, right? Lots of reasons we are prevented, but at this point I'm retiring and we still ask this question.
Which is dumb. I mean, I told Todd the title and he was like, that's like a whole thing, but hasn't it like, it's like everybody's in the green room talking about it. So are we going to get a seat? I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we going to get a seat?
Right.
Like finally we're in the building. And I do think people are starting to realize more like, oh, wow, you really are a strategic partner.
You're so kind.
Well,
I know you don't hear that very often, so I want to make sure I say well.
Wait,
hold on.
Also,
I feel good after I said that. That felt good. That felt great. I think since the pandemic, so many HR folks had an opportunity to like be needed with all of the
I'm sorry.
regulation changes. Why are you laughing already? I didn't even finish. What did I say?
No, because it's just so true and sad. Like all of a sudden they
All of a
said,
sudden, HR,
hey,
come,
this is
HR.
what we're needing. It's pure chaos and HR.
Well, and we had PPE, and so anytime there's a bunch of letters or acronyms, it's like, oh, it must be an HR thing,
Must
right?
be.
So
That's what I see, right? Okay, then
we've
HR.
got PPE for FMLA, right? Is that what we're supposed to do? You just start throwing things around.
Right.
And so these HR folks got called to the table, literally. What's today's latest on legislation? What's our requirement, right? What do we have to roll out? What do we have to keep people from? Are you handling all the communication strategy to let people know this or that? You're creating the schedule for who can be in the office, what days. If you remember early on, we were still trying to figure out like overlapping hours. It wasn't about hybrid. It was you come for 2 hours to do this, so that you're not exposed to anybody else, then you leave and somebody else comes in. Like there was a lot of logistics, right?
Like, and cause I just saw interviewing, excited to be interviewing, going through the process and reading it. And it said at the end, and then I was like discouraged because it said we might need to see your like vaccination card. And I was like,
shut up. It still asked for that?
No, they couldn't. They can't. I'll let you know. But
not serious.
Take that off. Like, hey, you like.
How many times have we told HR people every so often apply for a job at your own company so that you can see that this stuff is still, you're like, I thought that was taken down. No.
But it's also why you're not some people aren't getting a seat because we remind them of times like that, frustrating situations.
Yep.
Times and.
Well, and if the only way that we got a seat, let's say then, and it felt really good and everybody was like, we're so needed. It was really, if you think about it, it was heavily tactical. It was just a different kind of tactical at that point. So once the pandemic ended, what I have heard from a number of HR professionals is I'm not asked to be a part of things that I used to be asked to be a part of, right? Mm-hmm. We're not needed in the same way. So that tells you it wasn't really ever about a seat at the table. It's being seen as a strategic partner. That's part of the issue.
Well, and that's what happened. So many people had a seat. And what did they do with that seat?
That's right.
I think sometimes
they walked around with a tape measure to see if you're 6 feet or not. That's what we were doing around that conference table. Back up.
Giving buttons.
Move over, Marty. Move over.
Don't hug me. But also
Marty.
But also, I think that it also was not the time to go in and say, okay, let me tell you everything about all the people. Now that I've got your ear, all of you suck. Okay, as you were. I'll still be over here.
All of you suck. Yeah, that's right.
I
don't know if you found that, because so often the seat at the table becomes some sort of fantasy goal. Like we can't even define what seat at the table looks like. We know we want it, but what does it look like? How will you know you've gotten it? It used to be, the reason that phrase started is because it used to really be way back that you would literally sit at the executive table. Right. But we don't, a lot of organizations aren't fully structured that way anymore. So how would you know if you've made it? Is it really about being on a phone call with somebody? Isn't it really supposed to be about contribution? How do you measure that?
It's supposed to be about impact. And I think lots of people do have a seat at the table, but don't they conflate what they're really being asked to do without being able to be strategic. And so they think the job is the job, right? Like, why didn't I get more money when I did keep the records of who had COVID and who didn't and who could come and who didn't? And so now I need a seat at the table. No, we are an organization that needs great employees that are happy to work here, that make a difference. And so it was your job to say
that again.
I can't.
I know. Somebody rewind that, because that's so good.
I just feel like that's always been the challenge. And because I remember talking to somebody and I was like, well, how is work going? And they're like, well, I have to talk to 25. I was asked to sign up 25 partners a day and I only have 12. And I was like, so I can't talk because I have to get 12. I'm happy to let you go. But a really quick question. What happens after you get those 25? Oh, well, we're really just need 5 partners, but I'm supposed to talk to 25 to get 5 partners. I was like, if you strategize,
I know.
you could make 10 phone calls.
Right.
And be done. The job is not making the phone calls.
Mix drinks in the kitchen with Todd, because that's what it sounds like he's doing.
It is, yeah. Drinks? It's probably Todd or TJ making drinks in the other room. I mean,
if it's TJ, I'm fine. If it's Todd, I got an issue.
Well, Todd taught TJ to not care about anything that
No, don't you dare talk about sweet baby TJ like that. How dare you?
No.
I know, right? There you go, my love.
Thank you.
My gosh. You need to increase his weekly compensation.
Okay, here.
Up to
Here. Go warm up the hot honey, Todd.
Fetch. The hot honey. Go warm up the hot honey.
Have yourself a merry little
holidays, Merry Christmas time. Wait, how about Todd walking in this morning as I'm getting ready and saying, honey, do you need a hormone patch?
Why, did you start to get a hump on your back or something? What is it that he saw?
Exactly. Like what? What? You saw a rash? What? See, like a couple years ago, it was like, oh.
Is that a goiter forming on your neck? What's happening there?
Yeah. What did I do?
These are one of these things. Those are one of those things guys say, and you're like, I see the words coming out of my mouth. Why am I doing this?
Right, the line. Right. The next one is like, wait.
Stop. Don't say this.
No, put it on the list of things. I think it was just trying to figure out like the 6 feet rule. Like, how far should I stand away?
Am I going to catch what you have? Yes, right.
I'm not a good throw. So it's really not, it's not.
But, here we go. Todd actually was the HR principal we're talking about. Can I be helpful? The ways in which we are comfortably helpful too often, because we've been trained this way, is only, not that it doesn't matter, but that it's only tactical. Let me go get you the patch to help you feel better. Here, I'm the HR person. Let me go get you the handbook so that we can all know what we're supposed to do. Let me go get you the PPE so that you can feel safe.
So that you can fix it.
Yes.
Let me support you.
Yes.
So that instead of, this is what I think is going to work out for the organization. And I think that's why there is such a problem with trust sometimes. Like, I know at least there are some of us who've done this for a really long time, and you have to tell people, like I started being strategic. Now I turned into my mother. Let me tell you, this is why we have those stories of, when I was your age, I went to school up and down. Jeremy.
This guy.
Jeremy, listen.
Jeremy.
I'm glad you think that.
I'm with you, buddy. It's not going to go well. This is not the right environment to say that. It's not going to go well.
But also, it's all, I think about this a lot. This is like a whole version of hell. Like a party. This is the party. Todd, John Baldino, Jeremy, John Strauss, John Sumser, Jensen Harris.
All sitting around.
I'm not going to that party. I'm not going.
You are. No.
I'm not going.
And we're all sitting there with like bourbon and a cigarette going.
Which
and
is
another thing.
That's the thing. That's what I picture. There's like lots of meat.
John Strauss sitting next to me, elbowing me, saying, you say it. You say it. You say it.
Yeah. Josh, Jamie. This is like,
You say it. I love him. I totally agree with you. You say it out loud though. I don't want to say it. Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Jackie, what do you want to say? Any of you? It would be like the worst kind of intervention.
It's just it's that setting you up to fail by complimenting you. Baldino, you say things so well. You say that.
Jackie,
Go ahead.
We all just want you to take your estrogen. It's a freaking hormone intervention.
You tell her she likes you better. No. She's going to punch me in the face. Everybody wants me to do it. It is. Right?
What is actually happening right now?
But it is, we're laughing, but it is a great example because this is the absolute truth. And I'm speaking from like my 35-year career in human resources. I cannot tell you how many times I've been set up, and I have to pay attention. I've been set up to think that because I might have a way with words, as an example, and can activate, that is my superpower, and therefore I should be content with that. And if I don't pay attention, I miss the opportunity for that to lead to something transformative, an opportunity to be impactful to the organization on a bigger scale. No, everybody's really excited because I went and told Joe that he's got to take a shower before he comes to work each day because I'm getting complaints that his hygiene isn't where it needs to be. Baldino is so good at talking to people about their hygiene. We love having you here. If I'm not paying attention, I might believe that that's as good as it's going to be for me.
That's
I'm
right.
super tactical, right?
Right. Well,
So
and we
awesome.
all want that recognition. We want to know what we're doing. And unfortunately, a lot of our jobs, unfortunately, whatever, isn't public and can't be.
Right.
Like it's hard because I can't tell our CRO about, I'm sure it's implied, but I can't tell them the work that went into saving their job.
Right. Right.
Like
What I do the day after they're fired, I call them and tell them everything.
We don't talk enough about that. Like how many times literally in HR have you sat there and said, I have to talk through this. We're letting somebody go from the organization, and we know what the cost is going to be to the organization of just a separation. I don't think we talk about when we talk to humans that aren't in HR. I don't know about you, but often asked about how we can let people go, or how do we feel about firing people, or what. And I, it's like not a big deal. They're like, why? It's like, because they're not making the impact to the organization. Well, how do you know? I was like, and they haven't for years. And in HR, by the time you let somebody go, HR has been telling them for years. This person is not helpful to the organization.
We're doing that right now.
And then you're like, oh, we finally came up to a separation agreement, and you're thinking, we were able to work through this. They have to have you do it, but you don't get credit for saving the organization from changing the name to babygirl.com because of whatever happened, where it's like, you're going to have to hand everything over.
I was a part of that company during the .com era.
You are, baby girl.
It did all right. It was like this really cheap sort of like perfumey scent. These were a line of fragrances. It was awful.
Oh, that was baby soft. That was way back. But I feel like there is an element where part of the job where you are saving the organization. I'm not talking about major, scary, risky things. I'm talking about just the time, energy, and effort of going through something that should, from the outside, looks like an easy process.
Right.
But it's not.
But it is not. Correct.
By being able to talk, negotiate, and come up with a solution that works for the organization and the person, that's difficult.
And if you can't advocate for yourself, which is often a problem for people, but especially in my experience in human resources, so difficult to be an advocate for yourself because it feels anti the work we're supposed to do for the organization. I'm here to serve and be supportive of everybody else but me. Listen, it's both and. You are to be supportive of managers and supervisors who are trying to figure out how to assess people. What kind of skills am I really looking for? I know what this piece of paper says that I'm hiring for, but what does that really mean? I don't know how to ask good questions to find things out that I need to find out. Awesome. Show your superpower. Let people know that you can help them with that. Walk through that with those managers and supervisors. But it doesn't mean that you get to then run back to your office and close the door and say, okay, well, I'm the only one who knows that I did that. How do I figure out ways in which I can report on, not by name, but just here's 5 times this week, I got to sit with a manager and talk about X, Y, and Z to help them do their job better. Your CEO has no idea about that unless you say it. They're never going to know. That's why they look at you and they're like, oh, we're hitting our economic slump. Let me check my watch. 3, 2, 1, HR layoffs are going to happen tomorrow. That's why, because
and that person never says. Like, it's very rare that people are willing to say, I felt like it was going down a slippery slope, wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it, had those 13 conversations, or that's all they say.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I really liked talking to them. They were really nice. I mean, it reminds me of when I told my team, I was like, listen, they're not going to like you very much.
No.
And
I have not heard anyone say she's very nice about you in a very long time. I think that's important. I think that's important. It's
so
I have 15 patches on. I'm nice.
But it's like you go and it's like, these are the things that we need to implement where you're coaching through and not taking enough credit, because you do have to self-advocate while you're doing those things, right? Where it's not even how many times, I mean, this happens the longer you're in your career. Have you said, I can't allow you to do that, where you have to really be strong and tough and do those things because this is the policy. And part of it that I try to explain of why HR needs a seat in the table is because we're also the line between what's law and what's logical. And that's the challenge people have. Well, they'll say, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, talk to your congressperson. Like, I can't do anything.
Oh my gosh, you and I both, right? Write your congressperson. That's what I say all the time. Vote differently in November. I mean, like, I don't know what else to tell you.
Right. They don't believe you when you tell them. And I'm like, right. You're right. We should be able to do that. Yeah.
Pittsburgh is moving from 40 hours of paid sick time to 72 hours in 20 days. And I mean, it's almost an additional week of paid sick time that's being offered to employees. You could either front load or accrue it as part of it's almost double what an employer is used to doing right now. And the companies that, for instance, that we support in Pittsburgh they're like, well, do we have to do this? No, honey, you don't have to do it. Do you want to go? You can get in trouble though. Like you don't have to do anything. And the response is, how did this happen?
Yeah. Well, I was sitting around the golf course and I said to my friend,
are you asking me because you think I'm I was like, Pittsburgh's got to go down this year, right? Like is that what I already have taken San Francisco down. Pittsburgh is next.
Yeah, Boston.
Right. If I open an office in San Francisco, it's going to cost them now 3 times as much as anywhere else.
And I'm still in this same chair.
It's because I have the seat at the table. Look at me. I have no power over any of that, right? You are going to your point. You've got to vote differently. You've got to, you have to pay attention to what's happening in the world to have that kind of impact that we're supposed to. And we're going to wind up. I'm going to start something. Are you ready to start something? Do you have cigarettes near you? By the way, you don't have bourbon? Oh no! Have Todd put the Baileys in the coffee this morning because you're going to need it.
Oh shit!
We're talking about executive impact, right? Like our role in executive impact.
Okay.
And we've had I don't want to ignore it. We've had a very, very, very public court case that spoke to what could be perceived to be a positional consideration for those in human resources with what went on with SHRM or what is going on.
Girl,
right?
I fully wet my pants. Tell the people.
Tell the people.
I fully wet my pants.
So if you've not seen it, and if you are in TA and HR, and you missed this, I don't know how, because I feel like it's everywhere. But SHRM lost a case from a former employee who filed a retaliation-based claim, and SHRM was found guilty to the tune of $11.5 million. Now, first of all, that's membership money that's going to have to be spent.
Right.
So
which is disgusting.
There's that.
Right.
And now I will say, because I'm not in the weeds of this case, let everybody know I'm not involved. I'm not called as like a expert witness for anything. I honestly only have the same details as anybody else does that's reading any of the articles, and I don't even know if all those details are accurate. SHRM is appealing.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons, because apparently some testimonies were deemed not to be allowed to be shared in the case. I don't know why. I don't know all the details. So we'll see if the appeal works. But let me put that on the side. What does it mean when you're a human resources executive, human resources professional in your organization, and the whole company knows that this brand is where you have gotten a lot of your support, some of your training, some of your materials. And now the way in which they've operated internally is called into question. What might that now mean for you and how you're seen in your organization? Does that make sense? Like, that is a real thing. You got a lot to say. I know. Grab your cup. Go ahead.
There's just a lot that I can't. My heart. But it is like SHRM's response that was interesting was like, they're just like, nope, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
That's the response. Instead of, there's a million ways you could go, but if you want to know and you don't know anything about HR, watch how SHRM responds. It tells you everything you need to know about the status of HR in the United States, because again, law versus logical, it would make sense that someone said, somebody obviously made a tremendous mistake for this even to be the perception.
Someone did.
We're going to look into it, and we're going to get to the bottom of it, and we are going to make sure that we're totally transparent. But they're not doing that.
You have to be 1,000% convinced, and maybe they are. And I want to keep saying this because I know you're not. I've been tagged on stuff online, like, John, what do you think? John, I don't think anything different than anybody else, and because I don't have any more information than anybody else. What I would say is, SHRM, seems to be convinced that they are not in the wrong, that this on appeal, that true justice will be done. Maybe they're right. I don't know. Maybe they're right. I have no way to know.
I don't think it. I think Johnny calling it a blip when it's not that's not a
blip.
Oh,
I don't think it's a blip.
That's the stuff that is, again, what make people nervous and uncomfortable, because now you're like saying, oh, well,
Yeah.
A little blip on the radar? No, friend.
Now, listen, if we had that, bless you, if you in your organization had that blip in your company, how would that go over?
Right.
How would that go over? Now, and I'm not saying that to say that HR is responsible for all of the bad decisions that everyone makes in the organization. You might be responsible for the fallout as a result of those decisions, but it's not your fault that someone would choose to be discriminatory or choose to be retaliatory. You can't monitor every thought process. How could you? But you may have to be involved with the cleanup. Well, listen, I have been involved with more than I'm talking to someone a little later about the EEOC, just claims made and that sort of stuff. I have been involved with these things for years and years and years. It doesn't mean that the appeal may not work out for them, but they're still is fallout that has to be dealt with as a result. You still have to deal with it.
That's the part that is like, you don't get to be the ultimate, like, creator of what the right thing looks like and then not do your own advice. And that's the reckoning that has to happen.
Yes.
Where it's like, well, who do we stand for? Are we a trade organization helping? And I mean, because the value of those credentials that some people have, a lot of it is determined on this. Either you learned to do the right thing and be able to implement it, or you didn't, or someone somewhere made a mistake or wasn't checked. And so this is also why people push seats, because it sounds snippy, but it is the policy.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yes. I think that was well said. That is part of my concern for our fellow practitioners. I don't want anyone, and I feel like I want to say this because I was asked about this twice this week.
You were.
So far. Specifically, should I return my certification? As an aside, I'm not really sure how you return it. I don't think it's like a 30-day receipt kind of thing. I don't know how you would return it. The only thing you could choose to do is not advertise that you have it. That's the only thing I can think of. You could choose not to be a member, not to renew, all that good stuff. But if you've put the work in and were by this certifying body, which follows, and you make a great point, you can teach the right things, but if you don't follow it, then you're showing people what you really care about. Even if you've learned the right things, it's putting those things into practice. But if you've learned the right things and have been certified accordingly, I don't ever want anyone to feel like ashamed about that work they put in. Just like I would say, and this may appear in print somewhere, by the way, someone asked me about it and I said, the University of Pennsylvania, and I'll pick something close to Philly home, right, to pick on. University of Pennsylvania is a bit embroiled in an anti-Semitism. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say it's like a full court case, but it's like, they're being looked at because of anti-Semitism.
Right.
If somebody has a degree from the University of Pennsylvania, do I think that they should return it?
Right.
No. I don't. You've put the work in. You've done that thing. Does that mean you might be less proud of the school where you got it from? Yes, it may mean that. If this is true, right. And I'm only picking on them to parallel. But you put the work in. And I think that still means something. But what I would say is we've got to be thoughtful about how we use what we've learned, ensure that there's correct methodology, correct strategy to those things, talk to our peers. We didn't get this I didn't get my certification because of SHRM. I got my certification because I wanted to continue to learn and be challenged and do the things that I'm supposed to do. Just like I have my certification from HRCI, a degree from Villanova, all those things, because I've chosen to be a learner, a constant learner.
And that's why you don't have a low self-esteem.
No, I've got a great self-esteem. That's part of the problem.
Absolutely. They didn't teach that. But here's the thing that it's like, yes, you put those things together, but it also shows more of what people have been saying for a number of years.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't been dealing with the reality of today's workforce straight on, and that's obvious, like by saying, oh, the problem isn't steeped in racism and anti-Semitism and like white supremacy. The problem is just being civil with each other. And equity is not important. You take those things out without having conversation where I'm sure you talk to some, we're not friends. So I'm sure you talk to some people because you talk a lot, people in SHRM. I'm sure you've got friends, but when you made that decision without enough context for people to fully understand, like, okay, but what if I do this? Oh, well, tell them to be more civil. Or what if this happens? Or what if this happens? Without talking about the real climate of the working person. And it doesn't matter if it's your first job or your 30th job. We're all victims of like the world at large and don't know how to communicate about it. We're not having conversations about it. So it feels like the perception has become the reality. And so it doesn't matter that I'm going to be civil. If we're an organization that doesn't know how to be civil because we didn't talk about what that really means, at least to some people, this will not be the first lawsuit that happens. And I think that's why people are looking at it, besides the fact that it's just very scandalous to say, oh, we're suing for discrimination. I mean, there's more to it that they're not talking about. And making it, which makes sense about the case, but we'll start seeing.
Well, and I've been a part of organizations, unfortunately, that once the first domino falls, so many other people want to start bringing things up, and whether there's true veracity, to it, it's just it just starts happening. And I think that, while I do appreciate this concept of civility generally, right? Civil discourse, as an example, is super important. I have our whole careers, we've talked to people that think differently than we do, right? Like that has to be.
It's not about just being nice.
No, right.
That's the problem and other people, depending on where you were raised, how you were raised, the languages that in your home, whatever. Some people don't know what civil looks like, and so it's not fair to say words. We have to put that into action so people know.
I chatted with someone, you'll love this. I chatted with someone recently who I have all these amazing random conversations, who started smoking weed at 13.
I'm about to just fall. Can we just? Okay,
and I mean, come on.
Okay.
Started smoking weed at 13. Started smoking weed at 13 because his parents were regular smokers of weeds.
Because of you, Dad. I just did that commercial. Remember that commercial?
And so, right, this is your brain on drugs.
Right.
And he said, but I don't think I'll let my kids do that. And I said, why not? And by the way, this is like years later. This person is not 13 now. This is way adult, kids of his own. And his response was, I don't think it served me well. And I'm not, it's not this is what his personal experience with doing it. I'm not saying anything generally about weed. And I find that interesting because, here's someone whose, parents were permissive to say, you can't sit with us to do it, but go in your room, go in the garage, wherever, and you can participate. We know, right? We're saying it. We must be saying it's okay because we're doing it. Just like both my parents smoked when I was growing up, but they were like, don't you dare smoke. Don't you dare smoke. Right. His parents were like, nah, if we're doing it, we got to keep the door open for you to do it. So if you want to, we'd be hypocrites if we told you not to. And sometimes there is a bit of physician heal thyself that has to happen. And so coming back to what you were saying, when I think about leadership in that particular organization that we were just referencing, I don't want to keep saying the name, referencing, or leadership in any other organization where there's a heightened cultural problem, we got to be willing to say, look, you can argue for the next 2 hours all the things that are unfair about what we're being accused of. And I might agree with you, but I'd rather spend these 2 hours figuring out the physician heal thyself pieces. What are the things that we've done that have allowed this to be what it has now become?
And that's always been what, like, the biggest role for DEI professionals is looking at all of it and saying, finding the gaps in the balance of the culture in the organization. And I started, when I go to organizations, like I ask people to tell me about your company culture, and I have people and they'll be like, oh, we like family, and we're like this and we're like that and we're like this. And then I'll say, okay, let me ask you a couple more questions. Who do you think, is there anybody who works here, probably not, who you think should be fired but will never be fired.
Ooh.
Don't say their name out loud.
I'd have some people say it right out loud and not care.
Not the head of sales. The head of sales, and I say the head of sales is the asshole at every organization. So not the head of sales. That's your center square, right? They're your bingo piece. So not them. That's
Not
the organization. Other person.
Yeah.
I want you to close your eyes. Can you name the sexist, misogynistic, whatever person? And okay, who's that? Don't say it out loud. Would they ever be fired? Okay, think about that. Okay. Now that we all know your company culture, we can get to work. Because that's your company culture.
Right.
And I'll give you 5 minutes to absorb that.
That's a good way to start.
They're like, oh my God, now I know what I'm dealing with for the first time, because you've convinced yourself of other things, and that's the work. Yeah. Versus, we always have the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law in HR, where it's the rules are like this, but we forget, and all we've done is passed on this lure to the next person, these artifacts, without saying why it happened. It's like the old, we cut the ham edges on both sides, and then, why?
Yes.
I never had a pan. My pan was only this big. It's the same, where people don't realize that. I understand from a logical standpoint, we should treat everybody the same, and we shouldn't need to try to make sure that if everybody's just nice, then racism wouldn't be a problem, right? Right.
I mean, you would think so.
However,
right.
I always especially when I work with nonprofits that have after hours. This is a big thing with a lot of nonprofits that have galas or after hours, and how do I work with people? Do I keep them late, or do I do all this? Do I require them to go? And how do I do that? And I explained to someone, they were like, well, I don't think anybody would be fired here. I don't think anybody would mind. I was like, let me explain to you. The lawsuit is going to be when you ask them to carry a box from your car to the room for the party after hours, and they didn't get paid for it. I was like, trust me, that's the lawsuit. They would never. Yeah, they would.
They may not think of it. It's not until they talk to their attorney, who walks them through, tell me this, and who carried that box. And then the attorney says, were you paid for that? And the employee all of a sudden is like, well, no, but, and then they start to feel.
You realize, no, we're not soothsayers, but this is why the law exists, because you can't do this. It happens a million times. And it's always I know this is going to be a shocker, was always questioning everything that's ever from my parents. And my parents used to be like, don't touch that. And I'd be like, why? And they'd answer, I'd be like, but why? And then they'd be like, touch it.
Yeah.
Touch it.
Yeah.
And ow. And they'd be like,
and here's Baldino, where I'd be like, ask me why again. Frank, you would be like,
I know. TJ was like, I don't know what to do. If you told me to ask you, if I don't ask you, yeah. Write that down. Frankie, I'll cut this for your therapist.
I mean, they all have plenty. But this is as, maybe in your organization, you are thinking, I'm just an HR generalist. There's nobody else in my organization. I'm an HR department of one. I'm an HR manager, but experientially, I'm really a generalist. I don't even know how to sort of be the HR manager. They only gave me that title because I'm the only one doing HR. And so this thought of being, an active, transformational resource, it's not likely to happen for me. And my response to that is, and I think we all have to be thoughtful of it, is first, what are you doing to put yourself in a position to become more in your craft than you are today? What are you doing to put yourself in that position? Is it a webinar you're listening to? Is it a YouTube series that you're watching? Is it, I don't know, what are the I'm not asking you to spend thousands of dollars. You don't have to go to a SHRM annual conference in order to be seen as that. You can figure things out. What are you doing about that to own your own, right, development and opportunity? 2, the other thing I would say is you might be right. You might be right that at this organization, you will only be seen this far because perhaps you started as, for instance, like the office manager, which is not unusual, and in a smaller company, and you were given the W-4s and I-9s an application to handle when somebody was being hired. Like that's what you do. And so the business owner said, oh, well, that means you're HR. We'll give you the HR. That may be how you cut your teeth into this. Mm-hmm. Very, very realistic. But it may be that this organization will only see you as that forever. And you may have to leave in order to exercise a lot of what it is that you've been learning. That is scary. I know it is.
But that's what
but
people
necessary.
think. There's so many people that think that the whole role of HR is just an administrative task.
Yeah. Yes. And are we? Are we?
Some. But what's funny is there's also feel like they're the mom of the office and I'm not going to say anything unless you ask, right? Where you might have more of a seat if you would just take your seat.
Yes.
Don't let the way
both of us have said that. Just sit down. What the heck are you waiting for?
Or make your own table. What are you trying to do?
Bring the kids' card table with you and just prop it right next to the conference table.
That's right.
Bring the plastic tablecloth with you.
Right. That's right. Bring your own silverware.
That would be hilarious to do that. And if people are like, what are you doing? You'd be like, I'm at the kids' table.
That's right.
For leadership. And so when you have to refer to the kids' table to save your tuchus, you may have the wrong perspective of what it is that I do. Because would you turn to the kids' table to go save dinner for Christmas Eve? Likely no. But you turn to me to help save you from lawsuits, from complaints, from policy violation. You turn to me for that. You trust me with that. But you want me to sit at this kids' table. I'm going to fold this table up and I will crack someone over the head who says that to me ever again.
But it's
with this table.
It is so true.
Mary Williams.
I think it's, Mary Williams. So many people. But what's funny is they don't want to tell you about the business. And then how many of us have gone to the organization and said, Doug, we need to have a conversation.
Doug, because you know what Doug's like. Everybody knows what Doug is like. A problem.
So much. And Doug's like, it's because of my relationship with that girl, right? And you're like,
Lord help us.
How many times has that happened in HR?
Yes.
Girl.
Over and over again. And I want to affirm, Mandy, 100%. 100%. There are plenty of free resources out there. Mandy, you are not alone in this comment. Love that you shared this. So many resources are available out there. And if you're not sure, please message us on LinkedIn. We'll absolutely connect you to some things.
This is a resource.
Yes, we are a resource.
And in there, put your, I'm like, that's a great snap.
Right? I have a great snap. My kids, something's wrong with my hands. My clap and my snap are extraordinarily loud.
My clap is still junior in high school cheer.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
That's it.
I'm so sorry. This whole idea of being able to say, I'm proud of the work that I do.
Yeah.
Gosh, just think for a minute about that. You know how you were talking about how you ask organizations when you start about who here, right, couldn't be fired? Would that person be fired? Right. I love that, by the way. Let me affirm that. It's a great, and thank you, by the way. That's like a tool of the trade for you, and you just gave that away. So thank you for doing that. I think internally, the question to ask for the individual, right? You can think externally about who might. Now I'm going to say internally, you have to ask yourself the question, do I honor the role that I have in the organization? Do I see it as an honor in the organization? What am I doing to influence the way in which this role carries goodness and responsibility and thoughtfulness and a depth of knowledge? What am I doing to make sure that I know I'm proud of what I do and I allow other people to know and be inspired by this being a discipline, just like any other area of the organization? That's what I get to control.
And it's okay. I mean, for a while, I would be really ashamed and embarrassed about the success of what I would find, because no one would celebrate when you found that, in Chicago, they haven't been collecting signatures on I-9s for like 20 years, and we can start today.
Yes.
Yay, I found it. I saved the organization from potential lawsuits. I don't get a bonus.
No. Some places it's like $1,100 per incorrect form. Right? So you're like, I saved you a fortune.
I saved you thousands.
I'm just asking for color-coded file folders. Can I just have those?
I want is Zoom. Stop with the teams. That's all I want.
I want a pen that writes in red. Can I have just one red pen?
No,
but finance keeps telling me no, but I just saved us $1.8 million.
I had a number 2 pencil.
Ticonderoga, number 2 pencil. Someone.
I have those. Actually, I have the fancy pencils.
Oh, you have a pencil problem.
I have a pencil problem, but I haven't been in my office in a really long time.
Because it's freezing.
It's freezing. I'm not going out there.
I told you last time, Dutch oven in there. I told you that. Thick blanket, wrap it around you, Dutch oven for a while. You'll be toasty.
You have a problem.
I told you.
You have a real problem.
I told you this. You don't listen to me.
Listen.
This is where, there are people who might listen to us and think these two are silly. By the way, we're finishing another year of having the privilege of doing this with you all. Next week is our last one for the year.
It is?
It's our last one for the year. And next week, by the way, will be even more fun. We're going to have some guests with us. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. We'll see if we can get Steve Brown. I'm going to tell him he can't wear
all the besties.
All the besties. And he cannot wear paisley, though.
Oh,
That's
I'm sad. I just remember my brother passed away. That's so sad. We have to have a little homage.
We will.
Because
I wonder if we can pull all of his comments from this year. Because he had always negative things to say about you, and I would want to honor that.
Never.
Yes. It's been a year for you, and I want this year to be, we're ready to move into next year, right? Ready to move into next year. Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
Listen, y'all, we don't prep much for this. You probably can tell. And
it's not scripted by any, just so you know.
Because if this were scripted, someone needs to sign that writer up for something therapeutic quickly. Because if whoever's mind goes this way, oh my goodness.
Twisted. It should be in drama. We should be.
And they're going to need more than the 2 sessions they get with the EAP. We're going to have to sign them up for something more. But right. We love the idea of being able to live responsibly like this and have you all join us in it. The chat is so important to us because of you know what I mean? The way everybody responds, just this is how I see it. This is what I'm experiencing. This is the difficulty. This is the success. That's every day in HR, right? This is how in talent acquisition, when you find that purple squirrel, right? Oh my, you're going to do backflip.
This is going to be we want this to be the water cooler where you feel okay, this is just HR in the break room hanging out for an hour.
Talking clearly about Gladys in accounting. And as soon as she comes in to refill her tea, we all get quiet.
Right.
Oh, hi, Gladys.
Oh, hi, Gladys. My neighbor invited me over to the house.
Gladys, your wig's on backwards. I just want to let you know it's on backwards.
Walking my neighbor.
Your part's going this way.
My neighbor down the street called me over. And I was like, oh, hey, whatever, we're friends. We like love to like exchange goodies and treats. And she's like, so what's with the new neighbor? They're close to you, right? And I was like, I'll start filming when hi. Okay, look, like, this is the bike.
Neighbors are so funny.
I was like,
we have a neighbor who has decided to start feeding a stray cat.
no. At your house?
No. But the cat it's an outdoor cat. And so that cat then comes and hangs out at my house, during the night, lays on our vehicles, has urinated on my car. I'm going to tell you something. And Kathy has to like grab my arm, count backwards. I'm like, I'm going out there with a shotgun. And so she's like, no.
Or a cage, or you can trap it. Make sure it's fixed.
Fixed. I don't care what it is. There is.
The way you said fixed with their lips.
Fixed.
It's not disgusting.
I mean, I could care less. I'm going to tell you something right now. Look, and y'all can at me all you want. Number one, I'm not a cat person. That's clear. That is clear. I'm not a cat person. But I will also say, you got no business feeding a stray cat and making it become the neighborhood's problem. What you doing? Now I'm the grumpy old man.
Oh, you are stuck with. Why is the floor all wet, Todd?
If Frankie were on here, Frankie would say, you walk into the room, Dad, and you'll find the one thing that's out of place. I'm like, I literally cannot help it. My eye just goes right to it. And I have had through the years to discipline myself to say, don't say it. You can think it. Don't say it.
I'm so glad. And I'll be like, John, yes. But when Todd does it, I'm like, why are you so cynical? But when you do it, I'm like, I know, right?
Right. You see it too. It's just.
I fully see it. But I just do this to you.
Yes. By the way, I didn't comment earlier, and I want to make sure before we go that I do. I love that girl hair flip today. Love it. And if y'all don't know who that girl is, I'm going to tell you something. Look it up.
Listen, because last week with my D, it was so funny. I went to a meeting and they were like, oh. I was like.
Darren said I'm going to have a new furry hat soon. I mean, hilarious. No, I'm not going to. If that cat goes, I ain't putting that thing on my head. That is for sure.
John and I are not cat people.
You're not.
I mean, when
you're a dog person. I'm barely a dog person.
I'm a full dog person. If I see a picture of a dog and I'm like, oh
my gosh, that's you and Kathy. Kathy watches videos of dogs and stuff. This dog puts his head on my knee.
Pet me.
Just love me. And I look away on purpose.
Which is so mean.
Up. That's the timer.
That's the
We out of time. Listen, y'all, again, next week is the last one. Put it on your calendars. It's the last one for the year. We'll be back in January.
Yes.
On the 8th, then we'll be back after our holiday break. So join us next week for the Holiday Palooza. With people we haven't asked yet to join us. Okay. And so.
Should we wear our Golden Girls pajamas?
Yeah. Oh, I'll do it. Okay. We'll do that. And I'll have to bring this one back then. I'll bring this back.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us. Bye.